Welcome back to Black Tea and Cut. It is Sunday evening, and so I'm back with my little recap for the week. So I've managed to get caught up on a few things. I'm still behind on the just currently going on manifest video where she has Caddy up there, and Trees has a special guest as well. So I'm not caught up with that video yet. I will catch that later on tonight. But right now, I just want to go over a few things that's already happened up until this point before these new videos dropped. So anyway, welcome back to Black Tea and Cut. Have a seat for a second. I'm just going to try to do a really fast recap of my take of what's going on in the sector. And boy, it has been crazy. It's been lit. It's been a lot. So let's chat, shall we? Now, I had to watch Manifest Destiny, and I will have the name here. I watched Manifest Destiny last night, F around and find out. Well, what I should say is I watched some of it last night because it was 5 hours long. So therefore, I started last night and it was getting really, really juicy, but I was so tired. I said, let me just go to bed, take my behind to bed, and then wake up this morning and finish the rest. And that's exactly what I did. And it was thoroughly entertaining. As I said before, Manifest is the one to watch. I really think she has great potential to be heavy in this sector. We have our heavyweights that I call them, our MVPs, and our new and upcoming talent. And I do think that Manifest is definitely the new and upcoming talent in this sector. Should she continue to stay level-headed like she is most of the time. We know Manifest can't go off. She is a Gemini as well, from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I am wrong, I'm sorry about that, but I do believe she did say that. Also, so back to Kimmy and Trees. When it comes to Kimmy and Trees, I kind of saw this coming. I won't lie. Just because, there was some shade being thrown. Trees calls it constructive criticism. I say, it could be that. It could be constructive criticism if that's the way Trees viewed it. But I can also see why it can be considered as shade. Now, for me, I have kids. And so, therefore, what I call constructive criticism, constructive criticism to me is when you talk to that person one-on-one. If you talk to them in front of people, especially a whole bunch of people, see, I could do that maybe in our family. But in front of a lot of people, if you talk to someone in front of a lot of people, that will be seen as shade. So there is a difference in my opinion. I don't think Trees meant any harm, though. I think Trees, that's just Trees. And Trees has been like that. And everyone does, deal with it because they know that's just Trees. But sometimes everyone isn't going to be good with that. Some people are going to be like, nah, don't do me like that. And that's Kimmie. And everyone knows that Kimmie is not going to back down to anyone. So what I think happened here is that basically Trees was just being Trees, like she always is. I think that Kimmie was putting up with it to remain cordial so they would not get into this beef. And so she ignored a lot of things that Trees would say or do, or try her best to ignore it, to just make peace, to be cordial, since they made a truce. And it just got unbearable for her to the point that she just was like, okay, that's it. I also think that the Maggie factor plays into this. When Trees told Maggie, didn't tell Maggie, but said about that Kimmie does not like Maggie. She said Kimmie does not like Maggie. Kimmie just tolerate Maggie, basically. And Trees may fully well believe that. But I think Kimmie felt offended by that. Because I think Kimmie may feel or may have felt that was uncalled for because that could have caused a rift between her and Maggie's friendship. Um, and so that added with all the other little shady things that Kimmie perceives have been said. They both could have handled it better. I think that hopefully they can come back to a place where they can become cordial. Just call a truce because this will just escalate into complete chaos if it were to continue to go on between the two because both of these ladies know no limits in beef and roasting and they can both give it a 10 on both sides and I don't want to see it go to that. I like Trees, I like Kimmie, and I really think these two ladies deserve to just be cordial with one another and not have a beef. They are both, pillars within their families. They are both. Kimmie is raised all her kids, and now she's helping to shape the lives of her grandchildren. And she has such a loving relationship with her grandkids. And I love the back and forth between Trees and baby Trees. They have a wonderful mother-daughter dynamic, and it seems to be getting better. And just watching baby Trees grow up in the background, and just hearing her with her wonderful, loving, polite self. It's just they just have too much going on for themselves to be dealing with the shade and roasting and gags and nonsense that can go on if they continue this. The Clash of the Titans just needs to call a truce and let it be done. And so that way we can get back to enjoying Trees and Kimmie and not feeling like you have to choose a side or a team. I see that, it puts the mods in uncomfortable positions because it looks like one of the mods for Trees and Kimmie. And that right there is definitely a conflict. From my opinion, I don't know. You let me know, please, guys. Let me know if that could potentially cause even further conflicts. If two CCs are beefing and a mods for both CCs, I'm sure that's going to cause a rift. And I think she started her own channel as well as modding for both of them. And it's just so much there. But overall, just to sum it up, I do think that both ladies can just say, okay, truce, let's move on, I'm done, and just be cordial. You don't have to be friends. I don't think these two need to be friends at all. But they can be respectful and respect one another. And I think both of them have earned their respect for real in this sector. And back to what Manifest was saying, she shared similar views as well, and it seemed like majority of the chat, surprisingly, agreed that it was a mutual thing here. Some lean towards more of Trees being at fault. I think one or two lean to Kimmie being at fault, but the majority was basically somewhat to what I said, is that it could have been handled differently. They do think Trees was just being Trees, but they do think that Trees was throwing some shade, and they do think that Kimmie could have, maybe handle it different, or she did handle it because, she will refuse to back down and be, I guess what you would say, punked. So I kind of agree with that. Now let's move on from that. And I do want to say shout out to the two heavyweights here, Trees and Kimmie. You both are great women, and I pray that you can cease this beef and let's get back to having fun again, because everyone loves the den, and everybody enjoys Trees. She is hilarious. She's funny, witty, and they both are really funny. They both are really great. I mean, I love them both, to be honest. They both are great at what they do. And Kimmie, I'm sure that you both will work it out. I'll just leave it like that. I'm sure that you both will work it out. I know you will. I do. I guarantee it. I don't think it will go far like it kind of was going before. I think it will cease very soon, and I sure hope so. Because we really want to get to the fun and the laughs and things like that. We really enjoy the the content that you both provide. So shout out to the den and shout out to the treetops. Okay, now let's go on to what Manifest was talking about next. So next, it was the word ghetto. The word ghetto said by someone named Devin, I believe. I'm not sure who that is. I have no idea. I am not familiar with that person. So I still don't know who that is. But anyway, now Devin supposedly said the word ghetto and referred to it in a black reference. And everyone was up in arms about it. Well, mainly Talisha. I believe her name is. And she was very upset. Her and Mel exchanged some words, and they went back and forth at it for a while because Mel is still friendly or cordial with that person, and that was not cool with one of the other panelists. And so, therefore, they had their back and forth, and that went on. And then they came to somewhat of a truce, I guess you would call it. So then we get to the part where Manifest is supposed to pull up the video to, to show exactly what happened when this said person said ghetto and tried to refer to it in a derogatory way towards black people. But Manifest has the time of her life. I mean, like literally for an entire hour, she could not find the video. Then she found the video. Then it was hidden. Then it was unhidden. Then she could not get the audio to play. And so this went on for about an hour. So in the hour time frame that Manifest is trying to find this video or play this video so that everyone in her audience could hear it, everyone just carries on with different conversations to allow time for Manifest to find it. And I mean literally like an hour. It took an entire hour. And then, so in the meantime, in this hour time frame, while Manifest is looking for the, or trying to get the audio to work or play or whatever it is, so then there's just back and forth between all the panelists. So one moment it is Aaron going back and forth with Talisha, and Aaron is back. That is shocking. And he seems different. He seems on a whole different wave. He still, can give it, but he's just different, very different. And so he gets into it with Talisha, and then there's some back and forth between Essence and Talisha. Then there's just back and forth between Mel and Talisha. So everybody kind of gets it off their chests with in relation to Talisha, and she holds her own, no lie. She doesn't back down to no one, really, and she either gives it or she fights back. But either way, that goes on for this entire time. You know what? I'm gonna come back for part 2 on the whole ghetto word because before I could release this video, Treez went live and she's saying some things. So I just want to go ahead and release this. Hopefully it will spark some peace in the air. Because Lord, it's going too far. It's going too far. And I'll be back with my rest of my Manifest Destiny ghetto panel talk. All right. Love you. I appreciate you so much. Love you at Black Tea and Cut.